So I'm sitting in this cafe and trying to figure out what it is I'm going to do to make money. Because I tripled the bank balance for my charity, forgot to do my own. And so I look back at what I did, and I'm a firm believer that sometimes in the most challenging moments, that's where some of the greatest ideas come from. And this is one of those moments. So I look back at what I did with my charity, and I actually built that through Facebook. So I had people fly over from the US, didn't even know them from a bar of soap, but they were following my journey on Facebook through friends of friends. And I kind of looked at that and I just thought, well, there's something in that. If, we're connecting with people we would otherwise not connect with using the digital world. So I looked at what that was, and then all I did was ask myself the question, well, what's the need in the marketplace? If I was a business owner, what would I need, and how would I need it? And what things do I not have currently that would be able to facilitate, connecting with those people? And so I looked at what the need was, and the need was basically, that people didn't have time to step into social media, they didn't have the knowledge, and they may not want to employ a full-time resource. So that's sort of where the concept of socialite media came into play, which is we would provide that need, we would fill that need. We would give them someone who's knowledgeable in the space. We would also fund or get a resource for them to be able to, work on their space and build their online asset for them. And we've been able to, we've worked with over 200 different verticals of industries in Australia and in the world. We've had some of the largest brands in Australia and globally come to us now in little old Perth to ask us questions about, what do I do in this crisis of social media? I get flown around Australia to talk on the topic at board level and looking at from a strategy point of view. So it skyrocketed really quickly.
So you had this fantastic idea of new technology and a new platform that no one really had brought together, or if they had tried to, the service was substandard and amateur.
Yeah, it was a corporatised model basically is what we developed.
So you developed that model, and how did you take it to market?
Great question. How did I take it to market? Well, I started off by just putting myself out there. Like 3-4 years ago, if someone said that I was going to be a social media expert, I would have probably laughed at them, because it was just, it was the key in how do you actually become an expert in your field. And the way that I did that was I did a lot of little workshops. So I did lots of little training workshops for small business, because small business was my first market, but then my goal was to go to medium to large at a very quick rate. So the way that I did was in a lot of ways, the small workshops I did, I used as my own boot camp. So I learnt as I was giving workshops. I was self-learning on the way through, but then also lots and lots of information on a daily basis. And then the key to me being a thought leader in the space was I just got up and spoke at groups, and I positioned myself as a leader in the space. I spoke at conferences, I spoke at big sales summits, and I just positioned myself as the leader in the space. And confidence always outweighs doubt, and that's, you fake it till you make it sometimes, and that's what I did.
And from a press release point of view, what did you do there? How did you get exposure with the big companies that way?
Initially I invested a little bit, and I recommend this to most businesses that are starting out that want to position themselves as a thought leader. You do need to invest a bit in PR. So I did get a PR agent and invested probably around about $2,000 a month in that. That got me onto Today Tonight, it got me onto all the radio stations and all the TV stations, and that helped position me as that thought leader. My company's statement was that we're Australia's leading social media agency, and the fact that not many people had done what we're doing at a corporatised model, that was our unique selling proposition. So it's finding your USP and then knowing how to sell that. And so it's a combination of PR, but then obviously on social media, did a lot of that. And doing a lot of pro bono speaking. I mean, I don't do it now. Everything I do with speaking, I'm very selective of. But it's, you need to get to that position. So a lot of the time I'm a believer in that you give something back, and it's that filled the need for me from that humanitarian point of view, was that I always want to be able to give something back. And in business, any business I ever started, I always did something by giving something back. So by me educating businesses in social media, I was giving something to them. And that facilitated the growth of word of mouth. So my business is purely referral. Everyone we get is through referral only, and that's been a result of building the reputation in the marketplace and doing what you say you're going to do. No point getting up there, yabbering on saying that you're an expert. And I never said I was an expert. So people started to put that label on me. I never professed to be the expert in social media, but I did my research, I knew my topic, and then I just got on stage and sold it. That's pretty much how I did it.
So technology being Facebook came to the fore, you did the research to become the expert from everyone else's point of view, and then through word of mouth, through your PR, you grew, and you've had over 200 clients. You're the call-to person when someone needs to know about social media. When you got to the heady heights of having a $2.5 million turnover business, what was that like, and how did you handle that?
It was a very fast growth. So in under 2.5 years, we had built the company up to probably about $2.5 million turnover, had up to 35 staff. Profit margins weren't huge, but it was a big company.
Do you put that down to the number of staff and labour-intensive nature of the business?
Yeah, it's a heavily resource model, and that was probably my biggest word of advice: is if the model's not working and you're not making a big enough profit, change it quickly. I've done that now, and now my profits are much far greater and much different. The model's different, and I have a quality of life again. What I did was I built the business so quick, and I was employing 3 to 4 staff a month, and we had a warehouse. I just had to get a warehouse and throw people in there, and that was pretty much it. But it was constantly chasing your tail, and I did get to a point where it challenged my perception on what success is. You know, I got to the office and I looked around and I thought, okay, multi-million-dollar business, got all this staff, but how do I feel? And I didn't feel the way I thought I would. It wasn't the success that I thought it would be, because I didn't have the quality of life, and it all came at a cost. So that made me really change my business model, and that's why I say to people, if your business model's not working, don't stick in there with the emotion of it. Get emotionless, disconnect, and just look at it like methodically and go, okay, well that's not working, so I need to turn it on its head and change it. And it's okay, it doesn't mean you failed. It just, and there was that sense for me that when I changed the whole business model, was that I failed at that particular model, and I wasn't happy with myself.
As opposed to looking at like constant improvement and seeing how to improve it by tweaking it.
Yeah, I think I had a balance of the two. Like, I knew that it was that improvement, and I had to change and evolve, and with evolution, it means you're growing as a person. But I still had that little voice in my head that was like, okay, well, you didn't succeed at that. So I was hard on myself about that, but that's what drives me. It's only a little bit. It doesn't take over my whole decision making or the way that I run business. It just pushes me a little bit further, and I think that's an element that people who succeed have got in them, is that it's just never good enough. And any great leader doesn't believe they're a great leader. They just sort of say, well, no, there's always more I can do. So I always adapted that, and got to that point. Business was big, and I just did a self-reflection moment, and I went, well, this is not what I want.
Because if we look at your progress in 3 years, you've gone from stepping into a brand new model, Facebook promotion through social media. You've scaled it up, grown to a 2.5 million turnover business with 35 staff. Then you've looked at it, reassessed it, restructured it so that it gives you a lifestyle and income as opposed to burning you out. I mean, you've done in 3 years what some people do in 30 years, or don't even get that far.
I kind of I had to learn quickly. I figured that it was my 4th business, and if I'm not going to get it now, then I'm never going to get it. So I adapted it really quickly and just changed everything as fast. And the beauty about social media is it is so quick, so you've got to learn quick. So by default, my mechanisms are much faster because I work in social media, so it's all instantaneous. And now, it was the best choice I've made, and quality of life is much better, and our clients get a much better high quality service. But now I can be very selective of the clients we have. But in order for me to get to that point, I had to go through all that stuff and earn my stripes, so to speak. People won't come to me if they don't think I know what I'm talking about. So I had to earn my stripes, do the hard work, and now it's changing the model and quality of life now.
So to be voted one of the top 100 influencers in Australia, how does that feel, and what does it mean to you?
It's flattering. It's it's a nice little bit of recognition for all the hard work that I've done. What it means to me is, for me, I see those kinds of awards really about credibility, because the reality is I'm speaking at board levels, which majority are men, and I come in as this young marketing chick, and like, what does she know? So a lot of the time I get this, I see the awards that I get as a credibility status, so people will tune in and listen to me differently, because then they realise that I do know what I'm talking about. So I see that as a real value proposition for me, who doesn't have qualifications, but I have been recognised at national levels for doing what I'm doing. So I utilise those as my way to for people to shut down their initial judgments of me when I walk into a boardroom, and to listen to me as someone who has credibility.
So the future for Tennealle Bentley, how does that look?
The future for Tennealle Bentley, look, it's always going to be exciting and passionate. Whatever it is I dig my teeth into that I love, it'll always be Global Good Foundation. I'll always be doing that as part of my life. But from a business perspective, right now, I'm keeping the windows open and just seeing what will come in. So there'll still be a lot of exciting opportunities, I think, that'll come up, and still carrying on with socialite media. So yeah, it's a little bit of watch this space, I think.
Well, thank you, congratulations again. We're so proud of you and pleased to see how you've gone so far in 3 short years, and we look forward to seeing where you go over the next 5 to 10.
Thank you very much.